After playing so many different video games, it's easy to become desensitized to whatever happens in them, especially if you're an avid horror gamer. Despite not being bothered by much, there are certain moments in games that left me with a sick feeling in my stomach. Usually I didn't expect anything too bad, and these threw me for a loop. Horror and non-horror, I'm going to talk about them starting with non-horror. Spoilers, obviously, so if those bother you, stop watching. Why are you even here? Get out. Bugsnax is an adventure game that I haven't really played, but my son Emil has. I helped him with the tutorial level, and since then he's figured out how to play it on his own. The game looks very colorful and fun, but it's a lot darker than it seems. The title creatures, Bugsnax, are living food shaped like bugs that apparently taste delicious and are addictive. Eating them also turns your body parts into Bugsnax. The protagonist is a journalist who heads to Snacktooth Island to find the missing adventurer Lizbert Megafig who originally found the island. When you finally track her down at the end of the game, you find her underground as a giant mutated mess of Bugsnax. She reveals that the Bugsnax are actually parasites that take over the host's body and aim to turn every living thing into them. They slowly make the host lose their sense of self, and everything on the island used to be sentient. Throughout the game, you can feed Bugsnax to the NPCs, and their limbs turn into whatever they ate. So you've been giving them parasites, and it's potential at the end for them to give in to the Bugsnax and die without leaving the island. Apparently the story was supposed to be darker than what they released, but it's just a cute kids game, right?
Bugsnax were crawling down my throat. They tried to erase me, to make me into them.
That's horrible.
I almost lost myself, but somehow I pushed back. I made them into me.
Bravely Default is the definition of a JRPG, but it is still a great game and story. There are a lot of dark moments to be found, but there is one that I think of more often than the others. The city of Florum is nightmare fuel on its own, brainwashing young girls and poisoning them with hair dye. At one point, the party witnesses two girls fighting over a fairy wanting its wings for themselves, which is tied in with the whole hair dye, poisoning, mind control, yada yada yada.
No, you! You already took two more than me!
They tear its body apart, and after you finish a boss fight with another character, you find out that the two girls had killed each other. While you were fighting, they were using their bare hands to attack each other, resulting in both of their deaths. The thought of kids being able to kill each other with nothing but their hands is pretty disturbing. You can't do anything about it, but it shows how far gone the residents of Florum are. Tales of Symphonia is another JRPG that has extremely dark elements to its main story. Early in the game, you learn about human ranches, which are very similar to concentration camps. Held hostage in one of them is an elderly lady named Marble, whom one of the protagonists, Genus, befriends. She is a very friendly character, and in these ranches, people are forced to have an X-sphere which can mutate their body if not used correctly with a key crest. The protagonists try to make a jailbreak to free everyone from the ranch, but it doesn't go so well. Marble is whipped for being disobedient, and her X-sphere is forcibly taken from her. The next appearance she makes is as a grotesque monster that the main characters have to fight. They have no idea who the monster actually is until she sacrifices herself by attacking the guards and allowing the party to escape. Sweet, friendly old lady who gets turned into a monster and as a boss fight just left me feeling disturbed as hell.
まさかマーブルさんそんなバカな離れて早くシリアス新しい孫ができたみたいで嬉しかった。
Continuing on with people turning into monsters, Final Fantasy XIV has a huge plotline, and while a lot of it is typical JRPG stuff, it turns the dial way up in the expansion Shadowbringers. The player is transported to another realm called the First. This world is plagued by creatures called Sin Eaters that prevent night from ever coming. It is always light out. What makes them terrifying is that they're extremely hard to kill and they can quickly and easily turn other living beings into more Sin Eaters. Depending on how they're infected, people can take a while to turn, but it is a slow and agonizing process. An area called the Inn at Journey's Head takes some people who have been infected and try to give them a good life before having to inevitably kill them via poison. A woman named Tesseline works as a caregiver for these victims. She watches over a young boy who can't show emotion anymore named Halric. A Sin Eater makes its way to this desert and he goes out to seek for it. What happens next is a cutscene of Tesseline running to help and protect him from the Sin Eater.
Halric! We have to run!
She is impaled in the heart by the creature and we get to see her transformation into one, and it is horrifying.
No!
We all deserve happiness, wherever we can find it. The time left to you is precious. No one should die in pain. Mother, I...
She vomits light and her eyes appear to bleed from it. She is turned into a grotesque creature and can't control her humanity anymore.
No!
She flies away but is later fought and defeated as a mid-boss in a dungeon. Her design as a Sin Eater is disturbing, but I wish it was a mount in the game. Yes, I want to ride Tesseline around Eorzea in style. Dragon Age 2 isn't a happy game at all. It's very bleak, but there is one quest that really got to me. Women in town begin going missing, and you investigate what is going on. It becomes apparent that there's a serial killer kidnapping and killing women. He is known as the White Lily serial killer due to sending white lilies to his victims before murdering them. Your character returns home one night to find their mother gone and are told that she has a suitor that sent her white lilies. You can guess where this is going. Unfortunately, you do not get there right in the nick of time and rescue her from the psycho. No, you find her stitched together as a Frankenstein-esque experiment. The serial killer is a blood mage and wanted to bring his dead wife back to life. He chopped up the women he killed and used certain body parts for his creature. Your mother has a similar face to his dead wife, so her head was decapitated and sewn onto the neck of the body.
This beautiful face. I've searched far and wide to find you again, beloved. And no force on this earth will part us.
The serial killer is taken out, and your mother does not survive this ordeal. Thinking about it right now gives me the creeps. Can't believe they went there, but it was effective in disturbing me.
There's nothing I can do. His magic was keeping her alive.
I knew you would come.
Don't move, Mother. We'll find a way to...
Shh. Don't fret, darling. That man would have kept me trapped in here. Now, I'm free.
The next one is from Resident Evil 5, and I know there are a ton of other disturbing scenes and characters that are sympathetic, but whatever. In Resident Evil 5, one of the antagonists is a loser named Ricardo Irving, who is basically a fuckboy. He thinks highly of himself even though he's incompetent as fuck. He has an annoying personality, annoying voice, annoying everything. I hope you feel bad for him now. The protagonists, Chris and Sheva, are tracking him down to get information and whatnot from him. They finally catch up to him on a water vessel, but he refuses to go down easily. He injects himself with the Ouroboros virus and mutates into an enormous monster with his body staying somewhat normal as the tongue.
I'm far beyond anything you could ever hope to become. Shit. I just had an extreme makeover.
After defeating it, the monster bites the tongue off, throwing Irving onto the deck. His appearance is very disturbing, and it was just weird to watch him die like that. It's not the worst transformation in the series, but it was nauseating the first time I saw it.
Italian's not so bad, but it's not gonna change anything. You're still screwed.
We're wasting time here.
Chris.
Haunting Ground is a spiritual sequel to the Clock Tower series and follows a girl named Fiona who wakes up as a prisoner in a castle after a car accident. The inhabitants of the castle will do anything to keep her from escaping, and a lot of the gameplay is stealth. She can find a dog named Huey who protects her and keeps her confident in their escape. Fiona was born from the clone of an alchemist who wanted to be reborn, and she contains the essence of life, Azoth. Azoth? Whatever. The game is spent running away from her pursuers who want her for their own gain. Her father grew up with another clone, making them brothers of sorts. This uncle of Fiona's, Ricardo, wants to kidnap her to impregnate her and be reborn through the Azoth. If her relationship with Huey isn't strong by scolding him and not praising him for doing well, her escape isn't an escape. Ricardo succeeds in kidnapping her and traps her in a glass box.
You're up. Fiona, I've decided you shall give birth to me. Don't worry, I do not intend to kill you. If you would just lend me your womb.
What?
I shall be born again, this time with your Azoth.
After a time skip, Fiona is seen heavily pregnant and insane. Being forced into that, I don't think I need to say much more. Hidden Agenda is a thematic crime horror drama game that plays like a movie by the same people who did Until Dawn. A serial killer named the Trapper is supposedly apprehended on death row. A few days before his execution, he claims that he isn't the killer and he will help the police catch the real one. You can convince the judge, William Vanstone, to give you a chance to find the actual guy, or he will refuse to let you. Either way, he is later kidnapped and tortured by the trapper. Playing as Officer Becky Marney, she finds him in a motel room stripped to his underwear, bound, and had an explosive implanted in his stomach. Through his skin, you can see the timer on the screen going down and have the option to save him. It is linked to his heartbeat, so if his heart beats too quickly, it will count down faster and explode. You can either end his life with a bullet to the head or attempt amateur surgery to extract the bomb. During this, he is begging her to help him, and it is an extremely distressing scene, and one that made me anxious to not mess up and save his life. He's not necessarily an asshole, especially if he approves you investigating into the killer more, so it's even more emotional.
I need you to stay calm, okay? Stay very, very calm.
What?
Do you understand?
Why? What's happening? Oh, God. Please. My stomach. I can feel it in there. Can you get it out? How much time do we have?
Rule of Rose is an extremely obscure horror game that was laced with disturbing material. A lot of events are ambiguous as to what actually happened, and the fate of the main character, Jennifer's pet dog Brown, is extremely distressing. Jennifer is a teen who was raised at an orphanage and finds herself back there trying to remember what happened in her childhood. It takes place in an airship, and the children she knew treat her like she's also a child. The beginning of the game shows him tied up and hanging from the inside of an airship. From this, you can already tell that the other children from the orphanage have no empathy for Brown and will do whatever they want to him. When her childhood memories are revealed, we learn that the other kids wanted to torment Jennifer and found the best way to do this was to kill her dog, the one being that kept her strong. Although it's ambiguous as to how he died, they tied him up in a bag and left him dead for Jennifer to find. The beginning of the game shows the children beating a bag with a stick, which is possibly how they killed him. His bag was buried in a coffin, and if he was still alive, he would have suffocated from that. Due to the ropes being used throughout the game, it is likely that they tied him up to prevent him from escaping.
My friend! Give me back my friend!
Two other theories are that he was killed with a hammer, as shown in the opening, or that Jennifer sacrificed him herself to avoid being killed by the other children. The funeral storybook heavily implies this by containing this text. Once upon a time, a girl found a hole in the ground in the yard. The little people came out and told her the news. Today is the day of your funeral. If you don't like it, then you must sacrifice your friend. Who wants to be buried alive? So the girl did what she had to and buried her best friend. Well, I wouldn't want to be her best friend. Regardless of how he died, it had to be heartbreaking and the ultimate betrayal. I'm going to end it here, and hopefully I ruined the rest of your day. Let me know what you think about my picks and if there's any game moments that disturbed you. Maybe I'll do more of these, who knows. I also thought that this was a top 10, but I guess I forgot to add another game on, but I honestly couldn't think of any more that I wanted to add on. So thank you for watching the video, leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon. Thank you to everyone for everything. I'm gonna go think about life for a while. Thanks for watching.